The so-called 5 civilized tribes? They were overrun by fake European Indians who paid $5 to steal an identity. How pathetic.
In the late 1800s, there was something called the Dawes Rolls, which was basically a census that made records of people's ethnic backgrounds in order to determine which Native American tribes would get certain land allotments and other benefits. After slavery, many black people were associated with some of these tribes by bloodline, through marriage, through adoption, and even servitude. And because they were associated with these tribes, many black people were entitled to some of these benefits. The government did not want blacks to get these benefits, so they created a separate freedmen's list specifically for black people. They also started to list any full-blooded Native American who had African features as black because they didn't want them getting those benefits either. At the same time, they allowed white citizens to come in and pay money under the table to be listed as part Native American.
1895 and 1896, when a lot of the whites found out the benefits that these blacks are going to be entitled to, a lot of whites went to the Dawes Commission and say, look, why don't you put my name on there? They said, but you're not an Indian. So that's what they said, well, I'll give you $5. So then the rule got around, the posse got around that for $5 that a white could put his name on the Dawes Rolls and be called himself an Indian and be entitled to all these benefits, and all their children could be entitled to all these benefits forever. And so that became known as what's called a $5 Indian. And so if you go around now and check most of the Indians, the so-called Indians in America, about 90% of them are not even Indians. Those are just whites now who are passing as Indians. But they're getting all the benefits. And they're not paying any taxes, getting free college education. They put up a little reservation on the land that they don't live on. They have another home off and get all kind of benefits.
Iron Eyes Cody was another famous Native American person. He was in the media for years. In the 1970s, they utilized him for this pollution commercial. He was known as the Crying Indian. So he was a very well-known Native American in American culture. But the reality is, Iron Eyes Cody wasn't Native American at all. He was Sicilian. Both of his parents were from Sicily. So he didn't have one drop of Native American blood in him. He was another fake Indian.
Virginia gathered at Camp Mountaineer in Morgantown this weekend for their annual powwow. The family-oriented event brought together drumming, singing, and traditional dancing with colorful regalia filling the powwow circle. Organizers say the celebration is not only a social gathering, but also a way to preserve culture and share Native traditions with the wider community. Visitors enjoyed Native craft and food vendors, storytelling, and demonstrations, while many families camped out at the site to experience the full weekend.
It's about sharing our culture, sharing our songs, sharing our dance, and our arts and our crafts. We have crafting goods, and people can really see how we live our lives to a certain extent.
Powwows are a long-standing Native tradition honoring heritage and building connections between generations. Organizers say everyone is welcome to join next year's.
Over centuries, Europeans mixed with both Indigenous Americans and Native groups, producing offspring who would later benefit from that fraud, land, rights, and recognition that were never theirs. Meanwhile, the real Indigenous Americans, the so-called blacks, were told they had to pass a one-drop rule test to prove they were Indian. Tests the government knew were bogus. This is how Europeans rewrote identity. Fake $5 Indians filled the rolls, while real Indigenous Americans were erased on their own land. The fraud continues, but so does the truth.